Welcome to PTR Baler and Compactor. I thought today we would really take a look at the plant and look at our operations and the products that we manufacture so all of you can get a general idea of what we do as a company. We're a fourth generation company. We have 265 employees, founded in 1907. The Riethmiller family bought the company in 1929. It's followed through 4 generations. My father-in-law, Bob Riethmiller, retired as president and CEO in 2007, and I took over his responsibilities, and he's now our chairman of the board. My brother-in-law, Eric Riethmiller, is our VP of sales. This facility is about 120,000 square feet. It's an entire city block. In this facility, we manufacture vertical balers, self-contained compactors, and stationary compactors, and as well as it houses our service, engineering, and accounting divisions. So we have everything located here. And what I thought we'd do first is take a look at our Baler line. Our vertical balers are manufactured here in Philadelphia. We are currently manufacturing 55 units a week. We are the national leader in vertical baler manufacturing with a 54% market share across the United States. So let's go take a look. This is the start of our vertical baler line. Basically the way it works is the raw steel comes in, it's cut to size, and then it's put into these jigs and fixtures that you'll see along the line. In the jigs and fixtures, the units are tacked together, so a tack weld, and then they're all sent up the line to our robotic welder, which we'll see in a moment. Variety of sizes, we manufacture 36-inch wide machines all the way up to 72-inch wide machines. The reason why, obviously, the different sizes depends on the capacity of the application. For example, is it a drugstore or is it a Costco or a Home Depot or a Walmart? The larger stores will get the larger machines. Smaller stores will get the smaller machines because of the overall height and width. So these machines recycle cardboard, light aluminum, plastics, so a variety of materials. And as I said before, it's one of our major products and something that we're shipping actually now internationally as well. About 10% of our sales are international. This is our robotic welder, and as I said, the materials are tacked down the line and then sent up here where the final welding process is done. The amazing thing about this robot is, obviously, it's taken operations that were an hour, 50 minutes, down to about 10 to 15 minutes. So a dramatic decrease in the amount of time that it takes to manufacture these various operations. Other derivatives are, when the robot welds, there's no what we call weld splatter. When a person welds, there's a lot of splatter around the welds, which requires a lot of cleanup time. You have to scrape the welds and clean them. With the robotic welder, you don't have to do that. So it's one derivative is it saved us a lot of time on the cleanup end, and the welds are obviously much better looking to go with it. A couple of stories that are interesting. When we first looked at putting this robot in, obviously the men were a little bit nervous to go to automation. This robot performs about 7 different operations on our baler line. So it welds the door, the frame, the ram, etc. Interestingly, when we bought the robot, we had 90 manufacturing employees. Today we have 140. So we were actually able to get more competitive and grow our market share through automation and obviously create jobs. So that's been a great story for the men. The second story is when we were going to install it, we were actually going to put the robot at the beginning of the line where I started off, where we kicked off the introduction to the Baler line. We sat down with the men, we said this is where we're going to put it. We saw a lot of head shaking in the room. The men asked if they could really take over the project and really help us with the implementation of location and how the robot is going to feed throughout the line. So they basically came back to us with an idea of putting the robot here, which made total sense. And that's what we did, and obviously they were right. So nothing better than the people that do it every day to tell you what's right and what's wrong. So it was a great lesson for us. This is a vertical baler standing up. This is our model 460, so it's 46 inches wide. And the way vertical balers work is you lift up the gate, the ram comes up, cardboard gets thrown in, ram comes down, compresses it, and then when it's full, it ejects a bale out the front. This door opens and the bale ejects out. So this is a smaller machine, as I said, a 460, which will go into a CVS. You see the larger machines up here. That's a 2300 HD. That's our standard 60-inch machine. So a variety of units. All the units are ETL and UL certified. And we have a final inspection process where the machines obviously will go through a full pre-inspection by the team on the line, and then we'll have an inspection by our quality control manager. That quality control manager reports directly to me, so whatever he says goes on the floor in terms of the inspection and shipment process. So we covered our vertical balers. Now we're going to move on to self-contained compactors. This is a self-contained compactor. Basically what it is, it's a machine that's designed for the transportation of wet and dry trash to the landfill. The way it'll work is there'll be a chute that'll be cut into here from a building, from a store. Basically the trash goes into this area here, goes down a chute into this area. There's a ram back here that has scissored cylinders which will press out, compress it into this container, and then when the unit is full, the entire unit, you can see it's on wheels, will go to the landfill to be dumped. That's why you get the name self-contained. It's all contained, so all the liquid stays inside for the transportation to the landfill. People that would order this machine, Walmart, Target, Publix, Acme, Costco, any retail chain that would have opportunity for food waste or wet waste would buy a machine like this. We currently manufacture about 20 of these a week. We have a facility that we just opened, as you're aware of, in Plant City, Florida. Currently we have approximately 13 people down there manufacturing stationary compactors, which we'll get to in a minute. But the next line we're setting up right now to manufacture down there is self-contained compactors. So we'll have self-containeds built here in Philadelphia and also down in Plant City as well. So when the unit gets to the landfill, basically it comes down off the hauler's truck. The back of it, they have a door, and they'll open up the door. The door will open, swing open in the back here. They'll lift the unit up and all the trash will come out the back, close the door, take it back to the store, re-engage the hydraulics, and then they'll be good to go for the next load. So that's basically how the unit operates. So we discussed the balers and self-contained. The third product line I want to point out is our stationary compactors. So basically the same concept as a self-contained. There's a ram back here. In this case you have a single hydraulic cylinder which will then, when it's activated, push the trash forward into a container which will be called a roll-off container, which will hook up to this unit. The reason why it's called stationary is it's stationary to the ground. This unit just came out of the paint booth. This is for a Home Depot. This unit will be anchored to the pad. It'll stay stationary, and the roll-off container will come up and marry to it, and the hooks will attach. So when the trash comes into this charge box and gets pushed forward, the container will fill up. When it's full, the hauler will come. He'll detach the ratchets on both sides, roll away the roll-away container, put it on the back of his truck. He'll have an empty one with him when he comes to the location, so he'll just simply swap out the containers. Currently, we manufacture about 14 of these stationary units a week. As I said, we're manufacturing the 2000 SP units in Plant City, Florida right now. That's the unit that we kicked off our production with, and that's going very well. Stationary units are primarily designed for dry waste applications. So Home Depot, TJX, Marshalls, Dick's Sporting Goods, those type of stores that would have dry waste would use a unit like this, a stationary compactor. One of the things we did this year was we reconfigured our self-contained line. We looked at the self-contained a moment ago, but this is our production line. You can see the self-contained units coming up. And on this left side, we have a production line that's specifically for special units. We have a lot of special applications which require more engineering on the self-contained and stationary side. So what we did was we basically created a high-speed line here where standard units could roll through very quickly. And then on this side, we have more specialized units which would require a lot more engineering, a lot more welding, a lot more material potentially, where engineers are working very closely with them. And that's really helped our production flow quite a bit, just that small tweak. But as you can see, the line stretches back a couple hundred feet, and we're producing about 20 of these units a week. So we talked about the special applications. This is a TP4000, a 4-yard unit, like the Home Depot we saw outside. But this is going to have a cart dumper integrated to the back of this deck. So if you can imagine, this unit will be mounted up against a warehouse facility. It'll have a hood over the top. It'll have a cart dumper which will actually take large carts and dump them into the charge box. So basically, throughout the USPS facilities across the United States, there's big bins where bulk junk mail will be put in that's returned, taken into this compactor, dumped, and then compacted in a container. So this is some of the special application work that I was referring to earlier. And with the growth of distribution centers across the United States, we feel this will be a very marketable solution to solve a lot of their recycling needs. One of the things that we saw the finished units. One of the things we haven't talked about is how do we get to the finished unit. So this is our punch press. The next operation down is the bending machine, so bending a lot of the plates. The prefabrication work is done internally here. We do buy some components already prefab, but for the most part we have brakes, shears, automated punches, automated bending machines. So when we get to the finished units, when we start putting everything together, obviously all this has to be perfect and completely set up. So guys do a great job doing that.